Well, good morning. How is everyone? I hope you're all well. This is video 7 of... No, I'm only joking. It's video 1 of only one planned. Now, we'll be doing a live. A few people have asked. I will be doing a live. I am hoping that I'll be able to do a live tomorrow, and we will be announcing the winner of the competition to see who I will mentor through building their own channel up to monetization. So keep an eye out for that going up on the scheduler. But anyway, let's get straight into the meat and potatoes, as we've got a lot to talk about, and I don't want to make this video too long. So, Kohberger was in court yesterday, and I don't know whether you caught it, but this guy now looks pissed. And look, some people say, well, he's going to look pissed because he's now facing the death penalty. That is now well and truly on the table. But I would think that that would make some people scared. He'd look worried. He'd look panicked. He would look, withdrawn perhaps. It would have perhaps took the... how can I say, the spring out of his step, because he's looked very confident up to now. But no, he looks pissed. And I think when I take all of the information that's out there and what seems to be going on here, can you wonder at it? Can you wonder at it? And what do I mean by that? What do I mean by... Look, this is the first time that I'm going to go into these realms of... I'm beginning more and more and more to feel like this could genuinely be a cover-up. What sort of cover-up? Potentially cover-up of a fuck-up. Who knows? But, there's so many things that are going on around this case that do not sit right. Do not sit right. And people, you guys who watch these videos, you have got to look at these cases and be more open-minded than some of you are. Now, we can all have an opinion. Of course we are. We can all have an opinion. We can all feel that the guy is guilty, and we have faith in the justice system, so we're confident that when the law enforcement places, they say that this is the guy, that they've got the right guy. That's the confidence that you are willing to give to these people, and you that I feel that for some of you it's more scary to think that they could be wrong. What does it mean for these people to be wrong? And it takes a lot to admit and to accept that they can be wrong, and it takes even more to admit and to accept that people could go out of their way to frame someone. And some people just will not hear it. They won't hear of situations where law enforcement officers are just bad people and they do bad things. But for those of you who are my UK supporters, you will know well and truly about the likes of Wayne Couzens, for instance. And if you've watched the documentary surrounding the Wayne Couzens case, then that was some scary insight into some of these people who are entrusted by the public to uphold the law and serve and protect. So look, things happen, things go wrong, and not all of the people who hold a badge are good people. Fundamentally, they are just human beings, and they're as susceptible to the economy and the surroundings around them than the next person. And who truly holds the cards over in Moscow, Idaho? Think about this. So we haven't even had the trial yet, the Idaho 4 trial, and the university, the University of Idaho owns the house and are planning to knock it down before there is an outcome. Let that sink in for a moment. A heinous crime, a truly heinous crime, the worst crime this place has ever seen. The guy has got, you see what's out in media, and the university owns the house and are planning to knock it down before the outcome of the trial. That alone, that single piece of information, should raise questions, even for those who firmly believe Brian Kohberger is indeed guilty. Why wouldn't they want to leave that house to support any argument they have against Brian Kohberger. And with arguments against Brian Kohberger, we're going to delve a little bit deeper now, because there's been some things called up. But what I want to do is just give a quick shout out to the sexy beast. That is the lawyer you know. And you know that guy is absolutely fantastic at what he does. And if you don't watch him, please do watch him, because he is one of the most unbiased people I've ever met, not met sort of physically online, than myself. And he made a statement, and it was that this is not a Colosseum. This isn't like Roman times, and we should not enjoy burning people at the stake. And, you know, I'm paraphrasing, by the way, and he says it a lot better than me, but that is what he's basically saying. And it seems to me that fucking Idaho, Moscow, Idaho, they need to be dragged kicking and screaming into modern times, because what they are doing just simply doesn't look right. And look, all I can say is this, that it doesn't, what they're doing or what they appear to be doing just seems off to me. Now, even the judge is now saying, look, you cannot, and he's addressing the prosecution, and he's saying that the defense are bringing very, very valid points forward. And I said this in another video, and I think I've said it to some people in comments. The defense are asking for very, very specific things. You know, I know you've given them everything, and you're saying we've given them this 51 terabytes that some of you still think that's 51 terabytes of evidence. It's not. It's 51 terabytes of everything that they seem to be hell-bent on burying stuff in. And just arguing everything away by saying, you've got it, we've given you everything. We have given you everything. And that is important. And I'm going to come back to that. We're going to put a pin in that for a second. So we've given them everything, but the judge is saying, you have been asked for very, very specific things. And it's now got to the point where he has had to put a deadline on the government themselves to come forward with stuff that still has not been given, that are fundamental to the defense's job in trying to form a defense for their client. And what I think some of you do is you are so trusting of the system, you're so trusting of MPD that your mentality is, fuck him. Fuck him. They don't need, he's guilty, so don't help them. You don't need to help them. And that's not how the judicial system works, and that's not how you as an individual should be thinking. You should be thinking, look, at the end of the day, he is a human being, and he is now facing execution. So me as an individual, I want to make sure that if they are going to execute this guy, then at the end of the day, I want you to be absolutely sure that you've got the right person. And in order to support that, I want you to show me that you have got the right person. Because it's us, the public, who should be holding these people who are in so powerful positions, as powerful as you can get, to be able to decide whether someone lives or dies, is God. That is being a God. And you are giving them that and not even willing to question it. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm certainly saying some. The things that were brought up, specifically the white horned Elantra that we have questioned, the people who are still on the fence and want to see it, and when we question it, we're shot down. We're shot down in flames. But the courts are now questioning it. And these are the details that are being now deadlined to come forward. How is it that you are looking for a specific make and model of car, but then you then change that? And we have said the importance between what came first, the car or the person. To me, it would seem that the person came first, and then they just made the car fit by adapting what they were originally looking for. And I said I'd put a pin in the fact that they have apparently, the prosecution have given the defence everything. So if they have indeed given them everything, what do we know about that everything? What we know is that the defence have gone through it and they can find nothing that connects Brian Kohberger to the victims. Nothing whatsoever. Nothing. There's no paper trail, there's no messages, there's no social media interactivity between them. There's nothing. There's nothing. Absolutely nothing whatsoever. There was no DNA found on Brian, not in his car, not in his apartment, not his parents' apartment, not nothing, anywhere. Nothing. And I know people said that he had a period of time where he could have cleaned it. And yes, he very well could have. He could have cleaned everything. But he didn't clean the sheath very well. But you're trying to then turn around and say he can't clean a sheath to get the DNA off, but he can clean himself, his clothing, or ditch his clothing. He can clean his apartment. He can clean his car so thoroughly they don't find a fucking thing. Nothing whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense whatsoever. And touch DNA. Touch DNA. So literally, I could shake someone's hand. They could go and shake someone else's hand and then go and pick up a knife sheath somewhere. And they could then give that knife sheath to eBay. eBay could sell it. Someone could buy it and then commit a crime. And it's got my touch DNA on it. And then if someone turns around and says, well, he did it, I'm fucked. And that's what this case is. That's what this could well be. And that is very, very accurate in a description of what could have happened. And as stupid and as ludicrous as some of you may feel that sounds, that is exactly a scenario that could have happened here. But if this case is so airtight, watertight, they've got him banged to rights, then why are so many things still being hidden? And why are the stupid arguments being given back in order to try and refrain from giving them things? You know, that the defence are asking for the training records of people who themselves had stated that they were professionals in doing specific things. So she's just saying, look, I just want to see the training records of these specific people because they made a claim that they were doing the things that they were doing because they were trained in doing it. And that's what gave them the right to question this person. And what they're plugging for here is the integrity of that officer. I need to question this person. Now, to think back to the Kylie Rodney case, and for anybody who is sceptical over what happened to Kylie Rodney, whether anybody knew what happened. Now, I'm not saying that anybody did something directly to Kylie, but what I cannot get my head round is that she was at this party with all these people, drinking, and was with them all night, and then drove into the reservoir and nobody knew anything. But think about who was running that investigation, basically, talking to everyone, talking to witnesses, specifically saying to people, if you know anything, come to me. Come and speak to me. All the students, come to me and we'll have a discussion. Don't worry about the law enforcement. Don't worry about them. Come to us. Sammy Smith. Sammy Smith, one of the last people to see Kylie alive. And we see in the Idaho 4 situation, there are specific officers who seem to get themselves very, very close to this case. And I ain't going to say specific names because you know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about. You know what officers. And, you know, because I'm talking about it in this manner, I'm not going to name them. But to say that they need to be that close to the case and to use excuses that they are specialised in something, well, if that's the case, show us. And their argument to not give it is, we can't, because if we give you these, what's to stop you saying you want Daves and Johns and Erics and Steves and Peters? And she's got to turn around and say, I'm not fucking interested in them. I'm interested in these specific ones because they are relevant to this case and I want them because they made these statements that put them in this position to do this, and I want to know why. And again, the knife sheath, how did it get there? I can see where they're going with this. And what you've got to think is, Brian could be innocent. Brian could be innocent. And think about this. I'm going to leave you on this note, because this is the biggest question of all, okay? If you truly believe in innocent until proven guilty, and you truly have taken notice of every single thing that has happened, every single thing that is being withheld, and every single thing that they're trying to chase, and they just keep getting rebuffed and rebuffed and rebuffed, like Ann Taylor is turning around and saying, I have, in other cases, requested details and these records from Idaho State Police in the past, and never had a problem. Never had a problem at all. In this case, I'm getting pushback, and I want to know why. Why is every single thing I'm asking for in this case, either it doesn't exist, we don't have it yet, or you're not having it, and the excuse for you not having it is a shit one? But again, if you truly believe in the constitutional rights of your people, and you truly believe in innocent until proven guilty, which means that there is an inkling that Brian Kohberger could indeed be innocent, then how did a knife sheath end up so close to a victim on the second walkthrough? There is no video evidence of it, of the search, of anything. There's always video evidence when it goes in their favour, but never when it doesn't. How did it get there with his DNA on it? When did it? When was it placed there? Who placed it there? If he's innocent, which he could be. I'll catch you all in the next one.